right. All right. So welcome to. We're going to start a new podcast series. So we're going to do it on every Wednesday morning, afternoon, and what are we gonna name it?
The Mike and Abby Show.
Nothing can go wrong there. So, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about the situation going on right now, the elephant in the room with the USBC and banning 6 new bowling balls from Storm, or Storm products, I should say, not just from Storm. So, as of right now, the Storm Phase 4, the Electrify Solid, the Trend 2, the Altered Reality, the Wolverine, and the UFO Alert are banned from national competitions, including USBC Masters, which is where this whole situation stemmed from. I woke up, I think it was Monday morning, I think, that Belmo posted that they wouldn't let him watch.
Either Sunday or Monday.
I think it was after his practice session on Monday.
Jonathan said make a video about it. Well, that's what we're doing.
That's what we are. I know.
That's why we're here.
Well, there's always a joke with Jonathan and I. Whenever I go in bowling tournaments, if something happens,
hi, Mom.
I'm gonna make a video about something. So that's always the running joke. But as of right now, these bowling balls are banned from national competitions, including the USBC Open Championships, the USBC Masters, the US Open. But Tom from the PBA has announced that they're still going to be allowed in PBA competitions, in all PBA competitions.
Now, there's a question with that.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple questions.
Well, of course there is.
So I saw a post about how it was talking about all the tournaments and all competitions that these were banned from and not allowed to be used in. I saw something about the USBC Intercollegiate Championships. Does that include our D3 Collegiate Club Nationals? Because those are our nationals for the Division 3 schools, whereas Division 1, 2, and all the other schools have nationals themselves.
I mean, right now, we don't know. We honestly don't know. I'm sure in the next day or two, we'll probably have something come out from our club's advisors or whoever makes those decisions on what bowling balls can be used. I know that when we went to sectionals on a couple weeks ago in Chicago, there was the rumor mill going around about the Spectre, and I actually had asked one of the USBC officials there, and they're the ones that actually kind of probably spoke out of turn and told me that yes, something is going on with the Spectre, but they still allowed it to be used in that tournament, but it hadn't been banned yet. And then the very next day on that Monday is when they said that the Spectre was not going to be allowed in national competitions. And then 3 or 4 days later, then they banned it altogether and revoked its membership. And it's not even approved anymore. So I did watch the morning bolt this morning from Storm. And according to USBC and Storm, they are in an agreement with each other that all 6 of these bowling balls, the Storm Phase 4, the Electrify Solid, the Trend 2, the Altered Reality, the Wolverine, and the UFO Alert will be still USBC approved. You can still use them in leagues. You can still use them at local tournaments. I believe you're going to still be able to use them at the state level, but nothing is for sure yet at the state level. You are going to have to definitely check with your tournament directors and check with your local associations, because just as any other league and bylaws, they can opt for them to not approve these.
Clayton Kerner says, so much for taking my phase to Vegas.
Yeah. Luckily, you don't have it yet, so that's okay. We'll have to come up with another one for you. But you can still use these bowling balls in your local competitions. So your league, your local tournaments, my Fabio tournaments, you can use them in that. I'm not going to ban them from that.
So we had a question from a fellow bowler before we had started.
Sure.
How does the USBC get to determine that these balls that are getting banned can still be used in leagues or little tournaments under the same association, but you can't use them in nationals?
That's actually a really good question, because I don't understand how these bowling balls go through a growing process, and Storm Products sends tons and tons and tons and tons of bowling balls to USBC's research facility, and they're tested, and somehow they pass inspection. So I don't know if now all of a sudden Storm is getting a bad batch of products for cover stocks. I'm not sure. I mean, that's something that I think in the upcoming weeks, maybe Storm will be able to inform us. And that's one thing that Storm Products mentioned this morning in the Morning Bolt, is that they have given us the information that they know right now. And as more information unfolds, then they will be able to pass that information on to us publicly. Now, they are still going to do an exchange program for these 6 bowling balls. You can still go on to Storm's website, and I believe exchange these bowling balls for something that is approved at any time, including the national tournament. So it's frustrating, because the UFO alert is on this list of 6 bowling balls that are now can't be used at the national level, but were approved back in July 2nd of 2021, last summer.
Yeah, so why is it just now?
It makes...
The problem was with it being too soft, right? So
well,
that's where my question of USBC has done such a good job with making sure that balls are approved before they even get released, that we haven't had this big of a problem until just now. Is it something with USBC themselves?
Well,
like, do they have an issue with Storm, or do they have an issue with something else, or do they just not realize
that they've made
that
mistakes?
The USBC themselves have made mistakes to where 8 months later, that's now when we're getting told, like, this ball is no longer allowed to be used after it's been out since July.
And it's odd that as of right now, I don't know if all of the brands are being tested. Like we said, Jason Belmonte was the biggest one, and he posted and took a picture of the black curtain at the Masters, and they asked to test his bowling balls, and he said, sure, no problem, as long as I can watch you guys test my equipment. They said, no, you can't. So why not the transparency? I mean, so this has clearly been an issue for a while, and now they're just now getting to telling us publicly about it. Why, I don't know. But still the PBA is still allowing. But they're not allowed in the PWBA.
How's that fair?
Because, and this is the problem that we're running into, the USBC governs and runs the PWBA. The PBA is its own thing and has its own governing body and guidelines. So the women's professionals are governed by USBC. PBA is not governed by USBC.
What?
I just blew her mind.
I just don't understand. Like, I don't see where that's fair. Like, how is, like, the PBA is the men's,
Yep.
but the PWBA, the only difference is that it's women and not men. So
Right.
Why is the USBC in charge of the PWBA but not the PBA? That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
That could be a discussion for later.
Well, that could be a whole other topic.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
apparently we have a question from off the camera.
I might be confused. Are you saying that the balls can't be used by the PWBA?
Correct.
This is because, so you can't use it in nationals, you can use it in league, but you can't use it in the PWBA.
You can use it in PBA, you can use it in league, you can't use it in the PWBA. Because USBC governs the
But why?
PWBA.
My mom has
That's
said,
just it.
Doreen Bird has said that is the problem with professional sports.
Right, they're not all under the same thing.
Anyway.
So, yep.
It's I just
So
think it's
yeah,
unfair.
it's interesting. So,
It is interesting.
We're making their time.
but yeah. But then I guess the difference would be this. What's the difference between the Spectre and these other bowling balls? Because the Spectre's too soft, but not allowed at all. But these other bowling balls are supposedly too soft, but they're allowed locally, but not nationally. So I guess that'd be another question to. Hopefully, we can have answered in the upcoming weeks of what the difference is between these two bowling or these two groups of bowling balls.
I still like my mind is
Yeah.
still blown about
We'll
the
tackle these later.
TWBA and
We'll
the
tackle these later.
PBA. That's still just.
So yeah.
I mean, I
so-
see why, but my mom has said, is it just better to turn these balls in and just find new products? I'm a little concerned that this will reach much farther than just these 6 balls. And then Steve Myers would like to see PBA spec the balls.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So to Doreen's comment, I'm going to turn mine in. I have 3 of these bowling balls. I have the UFO, the Phase 4, and the Altered Reality. I'm going to turn them in just so that I can pick something to go to nationals. Because I go to nationals in like 3 weeks, and I might not even have my new equipment by then. So,
That's where
because I want to say that 2 to 3 weeks was the process to get replacement bowling balls. What else did Steve say?
Steve said, are they letting you use them because of sponsorship money?
I don't have any sponsorship money from these companies at all. I'm not sponsored by any company. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. I used to be sponsored by Lane Master California Bowling, who now makes the swag bowling balls, who are now PBA approved. But I do not throw them anymore because I wanted to be able to throw more different things. There's nothing wrong with their product. I actually really liked their product. The PBA. Possibly it could be a money issue with the PBA. They want to be able to use their products, but the thing is, each company pays X amount of dollars to be able to throw their equipment on TV. So I mean, it's possible because these companies have already paid their money, so they're still USBC approved. So they're still going to continue to let them use them.
But back to Steve Myers' first question,
Yeah.
would like to see PBA spec the balls. I want to see that too. I want to see.
I would like a different outside company to do it. Not necessarily just PBA, but
Yeah, like it
in
should be the
general.
USBC, and then they should go through somebody else too before doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they can work as a team. I don't think that it should just be the USBC by themselves anymore, considering them by themselves are causing all these issues,
Right.
especially with
I don't think any one group is causing these issues. I just
the
the only
main problem that the USBC is causing that I think is their problem is the transparency problem. Like how they are going to do all these tests behind doors, closed doors where you can't even see through, and stop.
And I've seen
you
a lot of
turn
people
it.
blaming the USBC for it, and ultimately Storm is making these products. And it's they should have if they were soft to begin with, they should have never been approved to begin with.
Right.
So did Storm make a bad product? Yeah. Did USBC allow them to be approved? Yes. Now they're revoking them to a certain degree. But then my issue with that is the USBC Open Championships has already started. So you have people that are going to cash, that are using these products that now I cannot use.
A lot of those tournaments have already started. They've already
The same,
gone by, haven't
right?
they?
They changed the rules after the USBC Masters started. So the issue is you've got a tournament that is a few months, that goes a few months, 3-4 months. You allow these 6 bowling balls to be used for for 3-4 weeks or whatever, how long it's been going. And now for 3 months, people coming in are not allowed to use these. That's not fair. I mean, Chad Murphy talks about the integrity of their sport and their organization, and right now they're lacking. And I see we got a comment from Ryan Downer here.
Yep. He says, I think the problem is that you're testing them in different states. Got to figure in the weather effects, right?
Well, and that's another thing too. But I know that they're inside buildings in pretty much controlled climates. I know they're on the East Coast right now, right? I think the USBC Masters, I think, is on the East Coast. The gold, the casino out there. So colder climate. So the bowling ball should actually be harder than that if that's the case. So, but yes, if you go out west, that's different.
Photo winner said, gotta agree.
Yep, absolutely.
I
Gotta
agree,
agree.
too.
I agree. The weather does make a difference, and I know that there's been creating the difference. Ron Hicklin just did a video of testing bowling ball hardness with other bowling balls, and 2 out of the 3 specters failed. Brunswick products passed, and older EBI from 2018-2019 failed.
Steve Myers said, last year USBC Open made us all wear masks because tourney already started, and now they change in middle of it. Need transparency.
Yeah, that was an issue last year with the whole mask deal. I'm not even going to get into COVID. I'm not even going to go there. But that wasn't fair either. So, different things are changing and for whatever reason. So, I don't really have a whole lot more about this other than all 6 of these bowling balls are still going to be able to be used in leagues as of right now. So, if anybody else has any questions, I'll answer them as best as I can. Just going through and reading what USBC's statement was, and they're still going to be allowed in PBA and locally, just not at the national levels. We'll wait a second or two, or a minute or two, see if anybody's got any questions, and then we'll go from there.
Chris Sands should make everyone re-bowl for nationals.
I mean, that would be, I guess, ultimately ideal in a perfect world.
Oh, okay. Right, we are getting some questions now.
So Ron King, he's
Well, Ryan Downard said, just doesn't make sense to me. You approve the product before the company can sell, and then all of a sudden they are banned. Steve Myers said, thanks for talking about it.
You're welcome, Steve.
And then Ron King said, it sounds more like a production material or quality control issue with Storm and a separate transparency issue with the testing and results being stated by the USBC. It's a lose-lose situation for the National Open. Would it really matter if the balls were allowed for 3 weeks and ban the rest?
Yes, absolutely it does. That's just common sense.
If
That's the integrity that we are talking about, that your USBC changes the rules in the middle of a tournament. That's not right.
He said if they were banned later, any champion using one of them would call for the results to be questioned.
They're already in question, so that's totally irrelevant. You just contradicted yourself.
And then Waylon Sims says, as a tournament director, what are you doing this summer? I'm not sure which way to go.
What I'm doing this summer, I will follow USBC's approval. I mean, they're still approved locally. So I'm not going to ban them from my tournaments. If they are on the approved list, they're on the approved list, and we're good to go. I'm not a big tournament director, but we're going to be hosting tournaments on the weekly to monthly here at Lenawee Recreation. If they're on the approved list, they're on the approved list. They're good to go. I'm not going to. I don't have a durometer test here, so and whatnot. But let's get back to Ron King's here. So it sounds like more like a production material or quality control issue with Storm. I don't disagree with that, but in turn, at no time, it's completely a contradiction. At no time should a tournament rule be changed, because now you have thousands of people following following what's going on. Now they're not going to be able to use the same products that were approved at the start of the tournament. When a tournament starts, that tournament, those rules should not change because these first 3 weeks of bowlers are using illegal equipment now. Why are their scores allowed to count? That makes absolutely no sense. None whatsoever.
So
And
it is a lose-lose. I do agree with the
it's
lose-lose
absolutely a lose-lose. But
situation.
if they're gonna start a tournament with illegal equipment, then you have to finish it with the same rules. You have to give everybody equal opportunity, equal chance. That's integrity. I mean, you guys have already approved. USBC has already approved these, now they're not. And you have these equipment that are approved at a different level. It's the same association. So why are they approved here but not approved here? So if I shoot an honor score down here at the league level, but I can't use them at a national level, that doesn't make any sense. That's not even logical.
And I think you were kind of agreeing with Ryan Downward at that part because he said, just doesn't make sense to me. You approve the product before the company can sell, and then all of a sudden they are banned. That. So. I just want to note, Buddy is watching this with me like he knows what I'm talking about, Lexi.
And this is not a slam on USBC. This is just a form of getting information out. And in my opinion, it doesn't make any sense to start a tournament with a certain set of rules and then changing the rules for thousands of bowlers that follow.
I just think there needs to be better
Integrity and fairness. I mean, it's actually it actually hurts the future of our sport, and that's their slogan, the future of the sport.
I just think there needs to be more like.
And Storm definitely needs to do better at their quality control and making better bowling balls. I mean, they are the bowlers' company. They're supposed to be here for us,
Yes.
and now all of a sudden we have equipment that we can't use at every level, and we should be able to use them at every level.
Just be more cautious, I think. Because they could. Do you think it's them making these products and not realizing the hardness of the ball until after the fact?
Even if they make these bowling balls and don't realize the hardness differences, but they go to the USBC's research facility and they're tested and they're approved. Why were they approved in the first place if they were soft?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. So it makes me believe that they were correct in the initial first testings, and then now they're getting poor and bad quality product, and maybe they're not doing their quality testing like they should be in their facility now, and now it's different. Because like I said, the Rotogrip UFO alert has been out for 8-9 months, and now all of a sudden it's on the unapproved list of the national level, but it's still on the approved list. I can still come down here and throw it in league.
Yeah.
But we're still the same association.
That's what it means.
That's very contradicting in terms. So you're paying a sanction fee, and you can use these bowling balls here, but you can't use them over here.
Right.
And it's the same association.
Steve Myers says he agrees on Storm's better quality control. This is a win.
Oh, absolutely.
And then Ryan Downer said, I agree. Let them use them till the major tournament is over, then put the ban in.
Right. I mean, if you don't want to use them, let them use them at the U.S. Masters, the USBC Masters, then okay. But that tournament, I believe it started too. I think they bowled last night. I think they did qualifying last night. So you could qualify one round with these bowling balls, but then the next round they're banned.
Right. So Ryan said could be because a lot of them want quantity over quality. I agree with that. A lot of these, some of them. Some of them want quantity more than quality, and they don't really care how the ball is because they're getting the money. Storm, I think, is one that cares about the quality more than the quantity, but
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they push out a lot of bowling balls.
yes,
They outsell the other 8 brands altogether.
just a little bit more quality than quantity.
Right.
Like they actually try to
We got another.
pay attention.
Will they eventually be banned locally? As of right now, there's an agreement that they will not be banned locally. They will be used locally, and it's up to local associations to do what they want, whether they want to follow the national rule or not. So, but I think we've covered everything that we can cover, and I think we'll get out of here. I'll get that later. We'll make that podcast too.
I think we have. Nope, that's the same one.
We got
Okay.
18. No?
I was
could-
reading the comments.
Could it
Oh,
also
yeah.
just be more explained with way we covered? And it's very possible. See you, Nicole.
Bye.
That's our question voice off camera, Nicole. But
Ron King, my guess would be it's up to locals for the remainder of the season and then gone next season.
well, I mean, according to USBC, it's they're on the approved list. So unless a local association or state level or whatever, or even a specific league puts them in their bylaws, I mean they're good to go. But I mean I could see that too, that after this season is over, or the tournament is over, then they are banned altogether. That's a very, very big possibility. Thanks, Ryan. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and get on out of here. And
If you do have any further questions that you would want us to cover in the next podcast,
we're gonna start doing these on every Wednesday.
yep, every Wednesday around 1:00.
Sure.
So every Wednesday
Sounds like a
around
plan.
1:00. If you have any questions, feel free to text Mike, and then we'll discuss them in the later podcasts. So
You're welcome.
thank you for you're welcome, Mother.
All right. You guys have a good one, and thanks for watching.